Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Now, and thank you, Kola, for giving us such a juicy topic to talk about today. Creativity inspired by travel, the idea of wanderlust. I feel this discussion really begins with the idea of the self. So I'd like to explore that further. Now, the self for me is a collection of images and events of our existence and the spaces in which we have existed. There are these abundant experiences that we've had in our lives, and that really creates us, who we are, whatever we want to be. There are things that happen in our lives where these experiences come together, starting from our childhood, to the families we come from, to the studies we have done, to the experiences we've had along the way. And all of these shape us to make us who we are and what we might create in the future. The idea is that at some times that there is a certain energy that exists where the mind and the body and the senses allow you to perceive what those experiences are. These are the receptors that we have, the senses, to receive in the information from outside and create these experiences. I feel like these are the times, there are some times in our lives where there's a certain sense of flow that exists and a certain sense of balance of body and mind, that when they come together, you create a certain sense of well-being. A place that you feel relaxed, you feel inspired. And these are really the times where I feel that we are at our creative best. These are times when the ideas are flowing, there are conversations that are flowing, there are things that you're learning, there are things that you get inspired by, and there's a certain sense of freedom that you feel out of these experiences that you have in your mind. And I really feel that travel and wandering is one of the key aspects when you actually feel this well-being. When these experiences come together and your mind and your body is receiving information through your senses at a very, very rapid state. And these really create who you are. I also feel that there are different kinds of travel. Some travels are where you're going for leisure. Maybe sitting by the sea, walking through a forest, being part of nature. It gives you a sense of well-being. It gives you a sense of calm. And every time we go and we come back, we feel rejuvenated and a desire to be creative and inspired. But I do feel there's another kind of travel, which I personally love, is when you get outside your comfort zone. You get outside your comfort zone to actually explore, take a leap of faith, to say, you know, what might be out there, and to gain these experiences. And for me, that was one of the first times that I felt. This was when I was 17 years old. I had first left Delhi, and I reached CEPT Ahmedabad. There's an architecture school there. And that place was an amalgamation of people from all over the country and all over the world. Travel came to me, and the university inspired us to look beyond and to question, and to think about ideas that were out of the ordinary. Through the years, I discovered different cultures, different types of buildings, architecture. It could be jumping into the sea, it could be taking a hike in the mountains. These times made experiences for me. These experiences made me who I am, and in some way inspired me to imagine, to create. I backpacked a lot. I went through journeys in Italy, all over India, and a lot of times I did it on my own. And these were really the times where there was a lot of self-reflection that happened. Times where I actually felt like there are these energies that exist out there, and you were able to see them. Sometimes you felt like you tasted something, or you experienced something, and there was some magic. And then you got onto a boat and you dove inside. And then there was another experience where you were sketching. There's another part that you suddenly realize that, you know, there is some amazing stuff out there. And it inspires you. I really feel a lot of these things and a lot of these travels that we've done go into the subconscious mind. The experiences go into the subconscious mind. And these subconscious thoughts actually in some ways guide us to how we create and how we do things. These are again filtered by the senses. In this entire journey, what did I learn? I learned that every time I came back from my travels, I felt positive. I learned a lot. There was a respect for nature, respect for everything out there, and there was an enduring sense of community. Community where you feel that the world, how the world feels and how you feel connected to it. The imagination and the kind of experiences that came together, they inspired me. And through a journey of self-discovery, obviously questioning oneself, you start thinking about the various possibilities of what you might be able to create. One of my favorite creations is actually Alice in Wonderland, Lewis Carroll, and everything that this person brought into this story is through these experiences and through this imagination. Like that, there's so many other artists who have created phenomenal things where experiences are created. Today in our practice at Ashwin Kataria Architects, we always think about how do we define these lines or blur these lines to create these experiences. It could be anything. And it could be something where you start imagining on your own that how do you want people to experience the building that you create? Do you want to create a place where there are two people sitting and having a conversation? Are you looking out into nature? Are you reflecting? What is the surprise that you create? Where do you get lost and where do you find yourself? And that's what my journey has brought me to. And this is what I aspire to bring into the practices and the buildings that we create. So I'd like to end this discussion by saying, and there's a note to myself, keep wandering, let your mind explore the possibilities of you and the possibilities of what you can create.